All right, this video, we're going to go a little bit over kind of some of the security features. This one is going to be a little bit more rambling because there's some of these things that I don't even really know, but I will include all the information on how to contact. This bulletproof security, for example, is one of the main security plugins that we've got installed on the WordPress on the MilwaukeeSynod.org website. And their tech support is pretty helpful. Their README, all of these pages have these README files. I've been very confused by many of them. So there's been times where literally I've sent them a message or left a message on their boards, and they have just had me create an account for them, an administrator account, and then they've gone in and made the changes. So here's the things that I know, at least of the process. So like I said, Bulletproof Security Pro is handling a lot of the different security. This main screen, when you click on the BPS Pro on that left menu, this is mostly like the setup. This you probably won't need to use because these are already set up for the multi-site domain or subdomain installations, which is indicated right over here. But that was for the setup on this main security modes tab. All right, the main areas here, this auto restore, this is something that's set up right now. And sometimes it'll be like a notification that says something that's in auto or something's in quarantine. That'll bring you to this. This is what was happening here. Right now, this is set up to check every 15 minutes all of the files. It's root files, admin files, include files, and content files. So the template files, including like actual core files of WordPress, etc. It checks them every 15 minutes, and if something changes, it'll automatically move it to a quarantine. That includes an error logs. So sometimes in the quarantine is just an error log, which is not a big deal. So you don't have to worry about that. However, if you're making changes in a template file, or even an update of WordPress or update of a plugin, this is where this is going to either be your favorite thing or the worst thing in the world. Because right now, like going in here and manually turning on the override, right here, is turn on cron override. So before doing any updates of a template file, WordPress itself, or a plugin, make sure you go into here under BPS Pro, Auto Restore, and then turn on the override. I should also mention we are also using Cloudflare. So this also syncs and caches. So you'll need to turn on development mode first. I made those instructions on one of those documents. So I'm already in development mode here on Cloudflare for 3 hours. So that's another piece of it. So there's two pieces of any updates of files. Then, so I would turn on the override, do any of the changes. I also, just to make sure, just kind of backing up the files before turning the cron, the auto check back on. It's supposed to, this plugin is supposed to have kind of a fallback that if you do actually update WordPress or a plugin without turning on the override or turning off the cron settings in general, then it's supposed to have a message saying, hey, click here, like right along the top. It'd say, click here if you were updating a plugin, and then it does that automatically. It doesn't always happen, or at least it hasn't in the past, and there has been an issue, and I've run into that issue. So I always, just to be double safe, is to either turn it off or turn on the override before doing any updates. So that's that. But once we, if there's something in the quarantine, that's over here on this left, but right underneath the restore quarantine. and it'll show you all the files that are in the quarantine. So if it did accidentally, like you changed something in the footer file, so I just did the footer.php in the things, and it detected that change and it moved it right here into the quarantine. It would show here with the checkboxes, either restore file or delete file, and then you hit the submit button, and then it'll either delete it or move it back. So if you did intend the change, you can go ahead and hit restore file, and that will take that updated file that it had detected and replace the one that it had put there as the backup. There is a little bit of kind of a limitation on here. So for example, when I have had issues in the past, and basically it had moved, I'd done all of these updates, including plugins and the WordPress itself, and it basically moved all of the files into the quarantine because it didn't, the backup or that fallback that this Bulletproof Security Pro, they just sent an update. So they said that now that they have the fallback, but that fallback wasn't in place. So literally all of the files were here in the quarantine. There is a limit of how many you can select all at one time. It's like 100 or something like that. So if like for some reason, like a whole mess of plugins were updated and all of the files are in here, what the easiest way now to do, because they've added this feature because of that issue as well of only being able to move like 100 at a time, and otherwise you have to go in there and check 100, like literally individually each, and then hitting submit and then refreshing and then doing it again. You can sort, so like by the plugin name, because then it'll just show the files associated with that plugin, which is usually less than 100. Then you can select all by this top button, restore files. So just a little like kind of cleanup. That's if things explode. Right now we also have the login security set up, and this login security will show if anyone is locked. So right now, any accounts that are locked, so in other words, if people are putting in the wrong password, I think more than 3 times, it'll probably be locked. It also shows a history of who's been locked. You can lock, unlock, or delete. I don't know really what the delete does, if it actually just deletes it from this list or whatever, but I'm too afraid to find out. So right now there's only these 2 locked in, but that's okay because this was that setup, that temporary account that I had set up for that. This is the developers of this plugin that when they had to go into the site and fix things or set up things for me correctly because I didn't understand their instructions. So if someone gets locked out, this is where you can unlock them. Or you can lock an account if you're suspecting some sort of suspicious activity. Then also here, if I click on this anti-spam, anti-hacker, this is where right now it's that's the word that people have to type in. You can change that. And then this is just the tooltip. This is what it shows. So if you wanted to make this like a math thing, you could do that. And then this is the title. So you can change all of that info. And you can actually enable it for comment forms as well. But right now, the comment forms, the default comment is not, functionality is not there. It's actually being replaced with discuss. We also have set up the database backup. I have a scheduled monthly backup of the actual database, so the content. On this second tab, we'll show the backup files. So again, if we're getting messages from the host saying that there's a lot of, because these are each 3.6 megs each, you can go and delete old files just by clicking on here and deleting them. This is just to create, if you want to do a manual backup job, you can do that, and then or set up another automatic one. But right now I just have a monthly one, the first at like 1 a.m. That will back up that database. just to be on the safe side. I know our host has some sort of a backup, but this also backs up the database because it doesn't always include a database backup. Other than that, this basically this S monitor here is where if you want to turn on and off any notifications, like also sending log files. I have most of them turned off because sometimes they're very confusing and annoying and they sound very urgent when sometimes they aren't. So, but you can always turn on different things, turning on alerts just in when you click into the BPS plugin area, or turn off alerts, etc. Our web host will also kind of monitor for like the DDoS, the denial of service attacks when someone's like pinging the website many times. Currently, that was something that happened in the past, and what they ended up doing is when you log in for the first time or go to the WP admin from another, I'll just see if I'll show you on this site here. So MilwaukeeSynod.org, WP admin, -admin, it will do this authentication required. The username is right here, and the password is just this math of 30, basically, here. This is, so when someone, one of the users of the GMS, like administrators or whatever, editors, is like, oh, my username and password's not working, double check to make sure it's not that this authentication is what where they're putting in their username and password, because the username is always the same. It's this, and then the password is 30. But I can say, remember this, and then it's not going to show me again. And now here's where they're putting their username and password, and then this no spam thing right here. So sometimes that's a little bit of a confusing thing, but that was put in because of a DDoS attack on our server, or on our website several months ago. So I'm going to leave that there. That was put on there by Green Geeks. This is here. We've got our Cloudflare, and that is making sure, keeping everything up to date. Things should be pretty secure.